Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to go over what exactly the PPP Payroll Protection Program is, who qualifies, who doesn't, the certain limitations for this program, and basically every detail I possibly could find on this program. That way you can know exactly whether or not you qualify and know what to do next. So let's get right in. The Paycheck Protection Program, also known as PPP, is a $350 billion provision for small businesses. It's a new type of loan, and this loan is eligible for up to 100% forgiveness if spent in the correct way, and as long as your expenses don't change. I'll get into that later. So this is only available for qualifying small employers. I'll also get into that, and the loans are for between February 20th and June 30th, 2020. So here are the eligible small businesses. A small business concern meets the SBA's existing definition of a small business concern. No more than 500 employees. They recently changed this. It's no more than 500 employees per location. They changed that because the hospitality industry is getting hit super hard. So hotels and things like that with less than 500 employees per location now qualify. And your NAICS code must begin with 72, which nearly every business will qualify in that regard. So here's some other eligibility. The business must be in business before February 15th. So, I mean, it's got to be more than 3 months old. You have to have employees or independent contractors. So you could potentially be a single member LLC. If you are an S corporation, you will count as an employee within that corporation, even if there's just one person in the business. If you're a single member LLC without an S corporation tax status, unfortunately, you won't apply to this PPP eligibility. So make a good faith certification of the following. The uncertainty of the current economic conditions makes the loan request necessary to support ongoing operations. Basically what that means is they don't want you to take out a loan unless you need it. So it's basically saying don't just request a loan to try and get some free money, which I know a lot of people are definitely going to try. You might as well apply either way, but this is part of the guidelines. The borrower must use the loan proceeds to retain workers and maintain payroll or make mortgage, lease, or utility payments. A big concern here, and a repeating thing I keep seeing, is they want you to be able to retain employees. Even if you lay people off, they want you to be able to hire them back on once this craziness goes away. The borrower cannot have an application pending for a loan of the same purpose. So you can't have an application pending already for payroll or an existing SBA loan pending or active to cover these expenses. But you can apply separately for that EIDL emergency $10,000 grant. Those two can be separate. They just can't apply towards the same thing. Basically, you can't double dip. Here's some characteristics of the loan. The maximum loan amount is 2.5 times average monthly payroll. So I'll go over some math on that later. The availability of credit from other sources does not disqualify eligibility. There are no application fees or closing costs. No personal guarantees or collateral is required. The maximum interest rate is 4%, and the term of the loan is 10 years. For the first 6 months, all the payments are deferred, and that can be extended up to 1 year if you just request to defer them 1 year. And up to 100% of this loan can potentially be completely forgiven. And I'm going to go into that as well in just a couple minutes here. So here is the maximum loan amount, 2.5 times total monthly payments of payroll costs during the 1 year period before the date of this loan. So it's not necessarily the year of 2019. It'd be whatever month you want to use, probably March 1st, 2019 to March 1st, 2020 would be the days that you would use for this. So payroll costs include wages, tips, vacation pay, group health benefits, severance, retirement benefits, state and local taxes on employee compensation. What isn't included is compensation in excess of $100,000 per employee. So if an employee earns up to $100,000, you will only get compensation for $100,000 of that. If they make $200,000, you can only get $100,000 worth. What also is excluded is the FFCRA paid leave, which is part of the second act of the relief program. So that's for people who had left their job already. Here's some loan forgiveness information, and this is what people are really excited about. The forgiveness is equal to the amount of qualifying expenses incurred in the first 8-week period after organization of the PPP loan. So qualifying expenses include payroll costs, rent payments, mortgage interest, and utility payments. The forgiven amounts are not taxable. This is a question that I keep getting asked. Am I going to get this, let's say $10,000 loan and then have to pay $3,000 in taxes? No, it's a tax-free grant on the forgivable portion. The forgivable amounts are also interest-free, and the potential to have 100% of the loan forgived is there as well. So here's a loan example. Let's say a company has $900,000 in annual payroll. The eligible loan amount is $187,500. How you get that number is you take $900,000 divided by 12 and multiply that by 2.5. So in the first 8 weeks of the loan, this is an example of what the company incurs. $150,000 of payroll, $8,000 of rent, $2,000 of utilities. So that's $160,000 of qualified expenses. And then the loan forgiveness of that is $160,000. That means the loan balance is $27,500 over a 10-year occurrence with a 4% interest rate. So let's go over that in further detail. The eligible loan amount is $187,500. So that's the total loan that you're receiving with that 4% interest rate. In this example, this company has $160,000 of qualified expenses that go towards that loan. The remaining portion, the difference between the $187,000 and $160,000 is $27,500. That's the portion that they would have to pay interest on and repay, because that's not going towards qualified expenses. That's just regular expenses that might go towards anything, and you need to pay interest back on that. This isn't going to be the case for all businesses, because some will have 100%, some might have much more than this, depending on how many qualified expenses there are. So here is the limit for reductions in headcount. So if your payroll expenses go down, there's a forgiveness factor that means the forgiveness amount goes down proportionally. So in order to get that, you take the average number of full-time employees during that first 8-week period after the organization of the loan, divide that by the average number of full-time employees during the 8-week period prior to the loan, and that's the forgiveness factor. So if you had 10 employees before and then 8 employees after, the forgiveness factor is 80%, and that's what the decrease would be. So here's another example on that. Loan forgiveness is reduced dollar for dollar by decreases in employees' compensation greater than 25% from a prior quarter. So that's an addition to the payroll factor. You may have to pay more if wages go down more than 25%. This also excludes employees making more than $100,000 per year. So here's another example with limited forgiveness. Let's go back to the $160,000 eligible expenses. This company laid off 5 of its 20 employees, so the forgiveness factor is 15 divided by 20. And then also this company reduced 3 of its employees' pay by $5,000, each in excess of 25% threshold. That's an additional $15,000 reduced. The adjusted forgiveness for this company would be $105,000. I'm going to be posting more content about these relief programs, so make sure to subscribe and stay updated. Till next time, thanks for watching. Hope you have a profitable day.